Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin. Some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty southpaws.
Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Bruce is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
I think it's honest. But again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. Again, I get that feeling that he just is there.
Jake Paul has added Shakur Stevenson to his training camp as he gets ready to face Gervonta Davis. Paul said Stevenson himself wanted to join and help, which makes his preparation even stronger. He also shared that his team has brought in several skilled southpaw fighters, most of them smaller than him, but perfect for giving him the right kind of practice. The big surprise was Shakur's involvement, since he had no past connection with Paul, but Paul believes training with Stevenson and the others will sharpen him for the tough fight against Tank.
In terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin. Some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty south.
Some analysts are questioning the sudden link between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson, calling it strange and suspicious. They compare it to when Jaron "Boots" Ennis sparred with Canelo Alvarez before his fight with Terrence Crawford. But in that case, Boots' family already had ties with Canelo. With Shakur, there's no past connection or shared background with Paul, so many believe money may be the main reason he joined the camp. This has led to debate about whether Stevenson's choice is more about business than boxing, since it's an unusual partnership between two fighters who never had any link before.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson has no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Bruce is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTuber, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen?
Shakur Stevenson has explained his view on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight, saying that if he were in Tank's place, he would look at it in two ways. From a business side, it makes sense because of the money and attention it brings, but as a fighter, he admitted he personally wouldn't take that fight. His comments show the difference between boxing as a career and boxing as pure competition. While some people question his decision to spar with Paul, Shakur openly said that money plays a role in such choices, showing how today's boxing often mixes business with entertainment.
Can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that. Like,
Okay.
it just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity.
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made.
At the press conference, things got heated when Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis faced off and ended up shoving each other, which quickly grabbed attention from fans and media. Many analysts think the push was more for show than a real fight, as boxing press events often use these moments to go viral and boost pay-per-view sales. The face-off also builds the story of the matchup, whether the bigger fighter can use his size and power, or if the smaller, more skilled fighter can win with speed and technique. This kind of drama makes even casual fans curious to watch the fight.
Southpaw orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you can even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5'0". He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes with that. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Nikisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves. It's still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch, and there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral, and both these guys are going to make a shit ton of money.
Even though the promotion has an entertainment angle, boxing experts say Gervonta Davis is taking this fight very seriously. They point to his focus in training and body language, showing he is fully locked in. For Tank, the fight offers not just a huge payday, but also a chance to gain more mainstream fame. Analysts warn that Jake Paul cannot treat Davis like he did with older names such as Mike Tyson in hype talks, because Davis is young, in his prime, and dangerous in the ring. If Paul comes in unprepared, it could end badly for him. Davis knows the money is big, but he also understands the risk of losing to a YouTuber turned boxer, which makes him approach the fight with full seriousness.
In this particular in the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn.
Boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult says a win for Gervonta Davis would make him a hero for both boxing fans and casual viewers. Many people have been waiting to see Jake Paul knocked out, as his rise from social media to big boxing events has split audiences. Some enjoy it, while traditional fans are frustrated. Showbiz believes if Tank knocks Paul out, it won't just be a victory in the ring, but also a moment that satisfies fans who want to see Paul humbled. It would boost Davis's image and show him as the fighter who defended boxing pride against Paul's entertainment-driven career.
Gervonta Tank Davis stops that. If he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
We're going to have to help you up. We're going to have to help you up. We're going to see about it. Help you up. We're going to...
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it. He will be a boxing hero. It will go viral over and over. It's the same thing. No, not even the same. It's not even close. But there was a viral reaction when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua can dispose of the MMA champion.
When AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou in the first round, it was like, now get out of here.
Former champion and analyst Timothy Bradley has been clear in his opinion, calling the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight an easy money grab for Tank. He believes Davis's skills and experience against top-level opponents make Paul little threat, and he sees no real chance of Paul winning. For Bradley, the fight isn't about competition, but about big money, with Davis expected to win while both fighters profit. He also says Paul's fame is being used to make Davis an even bigger star. Bradley's view reflects what many in boxing think, that Tank will win comfortably while cashing in, even as the choice to hold the fight in Florida has raised some questions.
Innocence and say that it ain't fixed, because check this out. Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, this gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rule. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah. False sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size. Hell no. I told y'all it's the size of the heart, right? In that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot, man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro.
Analyst Paulie Malignaggi believes the fight and its location are part of a bigger plan to turn Gervonta Davis into a mainstream star. He says if Tank beats Jake Paul in a big American venue, it will introduce him to a much wider audience, not just boxing fans. Malignaggi noted that while no one fully knows the real reasons behind the fight, the business side is clear. Paul brings attention and crowds, while Davis brings skill and knockout power. Together, they create a huge event. Hosting it in Florida also makes it easy for fans, media, and celebrities to attend, giving the fight even more visibility.
There's obviously a reason why the networks wanted to make Gervonta Davis a star.
But let's look at it. And Robert, I want to ask you this. When you looked at the numbers for Canelo, his fight against Crawford, 41 million viewers. That's what they got. It was the most viewed championship fight of this century. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson got 108 million. It got more than double, significantly more than double. Is it the idea of the streaming services, Netflix, where they're following the numbers, Robert, and that's where the numbers are?
It's what we're coming to, the real fights where they deserve to be seen throughout the world are, it's great. They have good numbers, but when you see guys, that are YouTubers, guys that are 60-year-old retired and coming back, and getting 2 times more than what a real fight, it's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of embarrassing, kind of sad that we're getting there, that we're in that situation. But I also can't blame them. They're all making a lot of money. That's why Tank is doing it. I think it's ridiculous. It's a joke. But I can't go against that either. He's making a lot of money. Jake Paul is doing his thing. Jake Paul is he makes these fights happen and gets the views. So people are tuning in. That's the problem, that people are tuning in.
Promoter Nakisa Badarian has added to the buzz with his comments about the fight rules. He confirmed the fighters will use 10-ounce gloves, which is normal for smaller weight classes but interesting because of the size difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. When asked about a possible rehydration clause, he refused to give details, leaving fans wondering if Tank will face limits on how much weight he can put back on after the weigh-in. Such rules can greatly affect a fight, and the lack of clarity has led to speculation that Paul's team may have pushed for terms to even things out. By keeping these details secret, the promoters build more intrigue as the fight gets closer.
At 195 max weight.
Okay.
10 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
And 12-ounce gloves. And most of you guys know boxing, right? Most of the fights are with 10-ounce gloves. Fighters spar in 16-ounce gloves. 12-ounce and 10-ounce gives you a little bit more safety, which is the key here, given the size difference. But there's a massive experience difference. We will have 3 world-class judges ringside that the commission has approved to ensure there's a rendered decision for the fans. It will not go on their record, but there will be 3 experienced judges, some of the best in the business, giving their view of who won the fight.
So let me just follow up with this then. The Florida statute says that it means an exhibition means a boxing, kickboxing, or mixed martial arts.
You saw the exhibition of Floyd and Logan.
Okay.
So just go with that, and if they weren't trying to hit each other,
Fair
then
enough.
tell me they weren't trying to hit each other.
What do you think Tank's gonna walk in at? 160?
That's up to Tank. What I can tell you is Tank is focused on coming in the best shape of his life. It's not about gaining weight. It's about having the speed advantage.
What can we expect on the undercard? Championship fights?
Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, we'll announce 5 fights, 4 of which are title fights. So yes, you can expect to see another MVP fully stacked card. No prospects on a big show like this. Yes, go ahead.
So when a matchup is matched 4 years in the making, how do you mentally and then physically prepare for this matchup of magnitude like this?
As in, how do the fighters prepare?
You and as well as the fighters train with you as promoter.
I mean, look, we started MVP 4 years ago with a mission to be fighter first, right? And I think like this event is exactly that. We're giving Tank a massive platform and opportunity for the world to see who that young man is. He's misunderstood in many ways, but at heart, he is a great human being who has a family and wants to do big things to make an impact on the sport and take care of his family. So we're excited about that. And in terms of preparing for this, it's no different than Mike Tyson and Taylor Serrano. It's just another big event that's on a global scale.
Keisha, is there a rehydration clause at all?
No comment.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay informed. Stay tuned for more updates, and let's keep our news accurate.